Yo, what up, my people? Welcome to Conversations with Lowe's. I am your host,
Uh,
Carlos, and I'm alongside with co-host Carlos too. What up, bro? You alright?
yo.
I wish I
Yeah,
would
we're
have
both
recorded
Carlos's.
that. I wish I would have recorded that. How you had that bird just landed on your head. That shit was hilarious.
Yeah, you gotta give them that fucking exercise, bro. I would think by letting them out that they would shut up, and now they make more noise. Look at there, she
Fuck it.
goes around there flying around.
Yeah,
Birds are meant
I'ma
to be
laugh.
free
She
anyways,
just
man.
lands on your head. Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. But anyway, so this episode we jump straight to it. Call it Deep State for a reason. When some of you don't know what deep state is. So before I jump in to anything, I want to go ahead and share this video with you guys. We'll see it together. We'll digest it and then we'll get into the first topic. I don't know how to do this shit. You know what I'm saying, son?
Most Americans hadn't heard the term deep state before Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. Now it pops up regularly in stories about business. Recently, the president accused his own Justice Department of being part of the deep state. The tricky thing is, the deep state is largely undefined. The political Rorschach is highly subjective, truly living in the eye of the beholder. The term typically refers to an intra-government
Mm,
conspiracy. HuffPost puts it this way: deep state implies a unified force deeply embedded in the republic that has its own agenda and the means to undermine the decisions of elected presidents and members of Congress. Its power derives from the control of the mechanisms of power and being invisible. Synonym: shadow government. Before the 2016 campaign, BillMoyers.com noted the term generally was used in reference to networks of entrenched government officials and various foreign governments. An example here is Pakistan. The country's intelligence agency and the military often operate independently of the country's elected leaders. Coups have been the result. Back here in the US, powerful federal bureaucrats certainly try to influence presidents from time to time, including with leaks to the press, writes Politico. But critics of the conspiracy point out their goals are piecemeal, not organized across the vast bureaucracy.
Oh
If
shit.
by deep state you mean civil servants who keep the government on track as
Oh,
administrations come and go, then yes, it exists. It's debatable, though, to say the least, as to whether the deep state is the threat that right-wing blogger Mike Cernovich described. He said it would turn murderous.
That's when Trump will be killed. They're going to kill us. They're going to kill him. They're going to kill everybody.
Former Trump strategist Steve Bannon was one of the loudest proponents of the conspiracy theory. He referred to it as the administrative state and made its destruction a priority. Several leaders of the hard right, they've been in lockstep, including Congressman Steve King and Trump friend Newt Gingrich.
The deep state, the professional bureaucrats.
And while the deep state concerns are not yet mainstream, some citizens are starting to buy in. An ABC News Washington Post poll out last year showed 28% say the deep state exists and it's a major problem. It was defined as military, intelligence, and government officials who try to secretly manipulate government policy. In the end, it might just come down to this: one person's dedicated career federal worker is another's furtive
well,
power usurper.
there you go.
a lot of crazy stuff.
What you think about that, Los?
Yeah,
I'm trying to
a lot
see
of
if I
crazy
can get
stuff,
out of
but
here.
it's actual facts, man.
Whoa, it is. It is, and it's just the power that they have too, man. Behind it is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because if you research what deep state, the definition of deep state is, it's a body of people, typically influential members of the government, agencies, or the military, believed to be involved in the secret manipulation or control of the government policy. Meaning they could do crazy shit too. You know what I'm saying? Like what we were talking about earlier. But what's your take on deep state before we jump into the first example?
Man, it's just there's a lot to think about when it comes to that, man. Like, I mean, I don't like thoughts. That's something hard to put into like a few, a few sentences. But I don't see it as a conspiracy. I see it to be true. Like a lot of people they hear about these things and they say it's like, oh, deep state. Not our government. Our government, don't do stuff like that. Like that's impossible. Um,
Yeah,
our government is clean and righteous, and no, it's there's a lot of deeper, darker stuff like we only hear about the things that they're allowing us to hear because they just seem
Yeah,
it, they just deem it to be like, who cares? Like they don't even care. Like,
yeah,
the people are so divided. Like what are they gonna do? Back in the day, right? Why was this stuff so kept quiet? Like, during the civil rights movements and all this stuff, when a lot of this stuff was just starting to happen. Like there was a lot of unity amongst people. They would protest. They would, even though that happens nowadays too. But people, I guess, they don't care to find out that there's actual crazy shit.
well, some people
That
don't want to believe the truth, you
that
know.
that too, right? And I was like, okay, they don't want to believe the truth, right? But then it's like they can easily find it, right? We got
Yeah.
the how do we get prepared for this, right? The Freedom of Information
Hmm.
Act. We went on the CIA websites and just straight put the project's name on it, and everything,
Hmm.
mostly whatever they wanted to pops up right there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
These
and I think
fucking
with this
birds, bro.
whole, it's
These
up. I
birds.
think with this technology too, it's helping us to, unify because, like what you said right now, we're able to go online and research this stuff and people, people starting to unify and ask questions, and not only that, man, but there's a lot of whistleblowers too, man, that are revealing information. So,
Yo, yeah, yep,
and yeah, like what Carlos said, we went on the CIA, which you guys could do too, the freedom, what's it called, the Freedom of
yeah.
Information Act, you
FOIA,
know,
FOIA, like it's
Freedom of Information Act.
FOIA. You can go on there and if you just know the project's name, you can put the project name and whatever, a lot of things will pop up from the
Hmm.
inception of it, like when it started, or if it's ended or whatever case may be, and you know
Everything,
yeah.
consent
But like I
forms,
said,
a lot.
yeah, a lot of things. You got a lot of shit on there. Yeah, it's crazy. But like I said, these are things that they're just like revealing to us like now because like the people already know. Like we've
Yeah.
known. That's been so but it's just it's crazy to me like how there can still be people that don't think that this stuff is true. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
how? Like how
Hmm.
how can you like what do you think people are just crazy, just making shit up and just saying things for whatever reason? You know what I mean? Like no man, like there's
Yeah.
even deeper
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Like you don't hear what this guy said in the beginning of the thing? He's saying that, hey bird, saying that Trump will be killed, we will be killed. Like, you know, if it's that deep where
Yeah.
assassinations can be plotted and all this stuff, man, it's crazy, man. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. And that's the shit too, man. Like people need to
Shut up.
understand, like these government or saying organizations, like the benefits of having a governmental problem, power, leads to secret operations being conducted. Saying, with the select few being granted access to classified information. And all of that shit is classified until they start to declassify this information, and then the documents come out and they start exposing certain agencies, and then you, like what you say, you realize like they've been doing some fucking crazy shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
Like one of the examples that we're about to bring up right now, is the Project Stargate or Stargate projects, right? I didn't know about this project until Carlos mentioned it to me, and I'll let him touch on it, and we'll go over some facts.
Well, let's do it in like kind of like in a little order. That way we could, um. So I think we should do it like from the Project MK Ultra to that. Here we go. Boom. All right. So like I said, I think that down the line, like it all starts from it all stems from one thing, right?
Yeah.
So so MK Ultra, um, so after World War II, during World War II, the Joint Intelligence Operatives or operations, whatever it is, right? There was a
Mhm.
special organization that was given direct power over Project Paperclip. So Project Paperclip, as we know, a lot of people know, is what happened was is that after World War II, a lot of these Nazi scientists they were taken to Nuremberg trials, right, and they were basically being prosecuted for the things they did, for the war crimes they committed. So during this process, I guess a lot of the information was revealed of what they were actually doing, in these camps and sometimes even other places, just special institutions, just for what they were doing. And
Yeah.
they were experimenting with mind control, brainwashing, and basically inducing person, or whatever the word would be, right,
Participants.
but participant, without
That's
them
what I like to
knowing,
call them.
with drugs, with drugs and mind altering, drugs, LSD or whatever, just doing these crazy things just to brainwash. And then we also know that even some of these Nazis, they were involved in deeper things with the occult, so they were actually, using um occult practices, ancient occult practices, to achieve higher consciousness and all these crazy things, demonic stuff and everything like that. So I guess during, with that, now Project Paperclip basically brings these Nazis, these war criminals to America to work for America now. And
Mm.
so now from there, after World War II, we have these guys here now. But then now here comes the Korean War. So during the Korean War, after the Korean War, a lot of POWs that were in the war camps were coming back, and things all brainwashed, and a lot of crazy other things must have happened that we don't know about. Which I believe
Yeah.
that maybe one or two of these, or 10 of them, or 15 of them came back and actually tried to assassinate somebody. You know, and then as they go into deep history as a person, like they look at political, where was he politically, where was he, as a kid, was he, a robber or a drug dealer, or because then these things won't be too far off the tree, you know what I'm saying? Too, like the apple won't fall too far off the tree, right? Like to say that that person did this because of his way of life, his political views. But a lot of times these people would be up, straight up. Damn,
Civil
man, just be right.
servants.
Nah, just like, yeah, civil, just right people, just people in their right
Yeah.
minds. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, there's another
Yeah.
word for it, I
Normal
just can't
people.
fucking think. Normal people
Mm.
that, it's like all of a sudden they just go crazy and do some crazy shit. So now they're coming back like this. So now, when MK Ultra first started, it started out like as a defense. Like, okay, what are they doing? We know that the Koreans and the Soviets are doing this to people, right? That they're probably trying to brainwash people in our government, like just to come over here to do some crazy shit. So let's get ahead of this. Let's start our own thing, and it's where MK Ultra starts. We have MK Ultra, MK Delta, MK Naomi, and from these branches of top things, right? So let's just put MK Ultra on the top. There are many subdivision breakdowns underneath it. You know what I'm saying to you?
Mm.
And it's where you get things like Project Bluebird and all this stuff. So basically, what they were doing was they were taking people off the streets
Wow.
and um putting them into some type of a place, and basically feeding them with drugs and brainwashing them and doing a bunch of crazy stuff to see how they will react, or what, without the subject's knowledge. Sometimes a person will go out to get a drink, and there's a CIA operative right there slipping him LSD into his drink, just and to watch him to see what he would do while he's on a high, while he's basically tripping balls, and
Yeah. That. Yeah.
so.
That one right there. Hold on. Right there, bro. That one. What you saying right there? That one. I want to do this part one, and then part two. I want to do what you just talked about right now, which was Operation Midnight Climax. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
which is. But my bad. I don't mean to interrupt you.
No,
Keep
you're
going.
right there, because all this
Yeah.
stuff,
Same.
all that stuff comes from Project MK Ultra. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Like they were just basically watching and to see what we would do. A lot of times somebody will go crazy, because anybody who's done anything like any mind altering drugs will know that you can have a good trip, right? Or you can have a bad trip. And
Mm.
a lot of times, sometimes somebody goes crazy and kills somebody in their own household,
Yeah.
like, or they could, like, so we know that these drugs, even in a lot of cultures, like mushrooms are used to achieve a higher consciousness, to get out of, one's realm and to get into a higher state of consciousness. That's basically the best place to put it. You know what I mean? To get out of your head and to go to the heavens. You know what I mean? Astroplaning and all these things. This all started from these, from the government doing it. But like I said, it's different when you know it's gonna happen, right? And you have
Yeah.
a good environment, right? I believe that these people like purposely like not only gave people the drugs, but purposely try to give them a bad trip just to see how they would react. So imagine how
Wow.
fucking terrifying that must be. You butt naked somewhere, you know what I mean? And they're
Yeah.
playing. They got speakers going of demonic sounds and crazy shit with people with masks popping up in your face, just to see how you will react,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
these things was happening for many, many, many years, But then you also like, so then now from this stems other things, because now as the research goes, you start seeing that what these things were used for, you know. So even going back, right, to understand that the shamans used to use it, right, that they would take a mushroom and then they would start praying to their gods. They would smoke some hashish and then they would start praying to their gods. Even Hindus, they use a type of pipe, right, and they shove it
Yeah, I
with
seen it.
hashish, all right, and they smoke it, saying that that the smoke is actually bringing their intention to the heavens, to the gods above. You know what I'm saying to you? And then during that state, you're able to, you know, basically, I used it a couple times already, achieve a higher state of consciousness. You know what I'm saying to you?
Mhm.
Right now,
Yeah.
we're where we have right now, we're in a low state of consciousness, right? But when we're actually meditating and trying that we can, you know, you're able to bring yourself out of your body and to go into another realm, into another dimension, you know. Um, we spoke about it many times, you know, of the demonic things happening, you know, like there's other dimensions. We see what we see, that's it. This is the first dimension, right? Like, but there's other dimensions that we can't see with our normal eyes unless we're trying to achieve it. So I guess during the study of that, they started to understand that there's a way to bring oneself out of his body and to travel through time, to go through time, to go to different places, to see what other governments are doing, to see where they put the bomb or what they're up to. And this is when they started doing these other projects. Now, so we got all the 70s and things like this. Now you got Project Stargate, like you're saying, you know.
Yeah.
But so I believe that, so Stargate was actually another thing too, like using time traveling, actually getting, you know, to achieve time travel, right? But we have other things too, like here in Long Island, for instance, what we were talking about before was the Montauk
Mhm.
Boys, you know,
Mhm.
and in Camp Hero, there's actual site there that was a military base, and then now we have people that come forth, um, and that they're claiming that there was taken without their knowledge from the houses, teenagers, kids essentially, little kids, and they were brought to this place, but
To
not by the
Montauk,
government.
which if you guys don't know where Montauk is, Long Island is literally at the
Long Island,
end at the
yeah,
island.
it's the very end of Long Island. Just a really quick, I'll draw you a little fish map because that's kind of what Long Island looks like.
That's what I tell
Um,
everybody. Long Island is
Long Island looks
just
like a big fish.
yeah,
So here's Long Island, kind of like here's Montauk Point. That's
yeah.
Montauk Point. All right. Here's Brentwood. All right. And here's Montauk Point. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
like an hour away drive, but it's
Mhm.
Montauk Point is known for its awesome fishing, right? In the summertime
Yeah.
being packed, but in the wintertime being a ghost town. You know, only there's a couple
Mm.
residents live there. So this is the perfect place to use for something like this because even if someone were to
Yeah.
escape, right, there's hours and hours away until the next town, until the next place. Anybody would see you. So you know, so these kids were taken there, but not by the government. Um, but by aliens. They claim that gray aliens abducted them from their houses and actually brought
Yeah.
them to this compound. And here you have scientists and aliens working alike to achieve whatever, you know. The aliens have their own thing. The aliens, they want to know how we as humans are, you know, how our whole body works because they're obviously biologically different, you know.
Yeah.
And also too, they communicate psychic, you know, through what's the word?
Telekinesis.
Telekinetically. Yeah, they
Yeah.
communicate telekinetically. They don't talk like how we talk. They just keep their mouth shut and they're able to. That's what some people say when they see an alien, all these thoughts flood their minds and everything like this. So
Wow.
government working with the aliens, right? Which is a straight fact. It's not no BS. We've been trying to reverse engineer their aircraft, and I guess in another way, seeing how they communicate. Now, you know, we should be able to do it too, you know.
Yeah.
And so these kids were put there. Now they were taught to given drugs or even, you know, naturally, I don't know how or what, but to basically to get out to astral plane, right? It's to get out of this realm to this dimension and to travel through different dimensions. Seeing,
Mhm.
spying, basically going into other places and spying on governments. Some of these kids have straight up acknowledged that they were able to travel back in time, right? To try
Psychic
to
spies. That's what they call them.
right to go back in history and change different. Now we have a multiverse, like, you know, Spider-Man multiverse, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
30 different Spider-Mans from 30 different dimensions, right? Like we see
Mm.
it as a joke. We see it as a joke.
Mm.
Ah, it's a cartoon, but it's not a joke. Like this is actual facts. Like this is
Yeah.
this is reality. You know what I mean? it's a reason why you have a dream, right? You know, you ever go and have a dream and you be like, damn, how was that so freaking real? Like how you see a
Yeah.
person in your dream that you don't even know who he is, right? But
Yeah.
how we're communicating right now, the viewers, us, right? Look at everything that's happening right at this moment in this video. Now think about your dreams, how you could be having a situation just like this with a total stranger. It's not like you dream
Yeah.
about your mom, your dad, your kids, right? That's different. You
Mhm.
see them every day. It's probably imprinted in your mind, in your subconsciousness. Now you dream about it, right? But it's during your sleep state that you're able to relax the most, and your consciousness leaves your body and goes into a different realm. These are what the yogis are trying to accomplish, which is we call nirvana. Be able to achieve that state, to be able to leave the body at will and to go into different dimensions or whatever case may be. So Montauk Boys at Montauk Point, where they were taken by aliens to this place, to a compound, and were basically practicing this, trying to do this. And during one of these times, one of the kids, his name was Duncan. Let's say his last name Duncan, was in a different realm and basically was fighting with a demon, and while he left the realm and came back to our realm, he brought the demon back in with him. Now
Wow.
this is where we get the show Stranger Things. See,
Mm.
again, like Hollywood, right? Showing us things through their research and everything that they do,
Mhm.
to get information, right? Like we think that is bull crap, but
Yeah.
it's actual, things that they know, like, you know what I'm saying? So here we go. We got
Stuff
the
is
movie
happening.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So now this demigod and whatever, like from Stranger Things, right, was brought through into our dimension, and they had to shut everything down. Basically, they shut everything down, pull the plug, because the electromagnetic field they were using, right, to travel through, had to be shut down. And this is supposedly how. Now, this is what they say. Who knows if that thing is still walking amongst the earth, right? Who knows what happened or how many people were killed in that compound because this thing was just straight eating people's heads off. You know what I mean? We don't know,
Yeah.
right? But we know
Yeah.
that in every culture where these phenomenons happen, there is some type of like electromagnetic pull. It's something with electricity or something, right? And a lot of places in the earth where we have the Bermuda Triangle, Stonehenge, you have these things called ecosahedrons where basically like it's like a vortex happens. We just where magnetic energy draws itself into a point. See, the earth is mapped out in ley lines essentially, right? We have ley lines around the earth. Let's do a quick little experiment here so you fools can see what I'm saying to you. You have the earth, and then you have like these ley lines, which is like these lines that just go across everywhere. Kind of like this, something like that, right? Ley lines, right? So you have America somewhere over here, right? Blah blah blah. Let's say this is America over here, right? You see America on top of here, right? And then you see South America down here. In certain spots, in certain places, you have things called vortexes that happen, where electromagnetic energy pulls into kind of like a cone type of thing. So it'll look like this, kind of like, sorry, I'm not a great drawer, so I'm going to just give you what I can. It's kind of like something that happens like this guy over here. A lot of energy
Yeah.
just pulls into a certain point, into a cone type area. And ecosahedron, I think it has like 20 something faces or 30, I don't know, but I know it's got a lot of areas where it pulls up from. So
Wow. Hell
them
yeah.
knowing this, they do projects and things like that in places like this. This is why ancients build their temples and things like that in places like this. Stonehenge is one of them. Where the pyramids are another place. Some people believe that those are just straight energy building things. You know what I'm saying to you that,
That
you know.
How you say it? Bermuda?
Oh, but yeah, the Bermuda Triangle is another area. Like it has a lot of those magnetic pulls. You know what I mean? That it's and so a lot of these crazy things happen. Planes go, they
Yeah.
disappear. Phew, you
So, all
know?
right. So did you ever go to Montauk, to that
Yeah,
spot that you're talking about?
hell yeah. So like before I even
What
knew
was that
about any of
experience
this,
like?
before I even knew about any of this stuff, I used to get my permit to go fishing at Camp Hero, because when you get your 4x4 access permit, you could choose Montauk Point and you could choose Camp Hero. You have to pay for it differently. And so you get your permit, you put it on your sticker, your car, you drive over there, and you could Camp Hero. You can't drive on the beach because it's like on a mountain. So you have these booths. You have one, two, three, four, five, six, and you could pick a booth. And so if you're parked at number one, that's your booth. That's where your car's parked. Somebody else got to park somewhere else down the line. So I went to park at the very last booth, and the wind was kicking. It was kind of crazy, and I just said to myself, I was gonna stay because I got there like on a Friday. I was gonna stay till Saturday. I was gonna fish the night and then fish the morning and then leave at night type thing. And
Yeah.
so I said to myself, because it's such a long ride just to go there for 3 hours and then come back, like, so
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I should just post up a lot of times. So I said to myself, the wind was kicking, had my kayak up. I didn't want to go into the water yet. So I said, you know what? Let me just take a walk. And I start walking through the woods, and I'm walking and walking and walking and walking. And I wound up getting to this place where I see signs everywhere. And it's basically saying keep out and all this stuff like that. So, you see a sign saying keep out. And you're like, man, I'm going to go in. But it's like as soon as I cross this plane, man, I'm walking through here, I just get like a funny feeling in my stomach. I never forget the feeling. It almost was like a feeling of the day the earthquake happened here, like in 2000, I don't know what. There was a tiny earthquake that you could feel if you was in Long Island. And that day, I was with my brother at the bike shop, and I remember just getting queasy. And I'm like, what? And then I started looking at the walls, and he was working at his bike shop, and all the bikes were like shaking. We're like, oh shit. It was like for just a second. And it was just, so then when I do a little research about it, I find out that some people, you could have a feeling in your stomach. You'll get queasy before an earthquake happens. Who knows why or what, but this is what I
Yeah.
was feeling. I was feeling queasy. And I never forget it because I only had this feeling another time when I was kind of like fake ghost hunting. Um, yeah. So where those kids were killed in CI, where they got chopped up, right? They got chopped up. So there's like a
Pilgrim
mural there.
State.
That's take no, the one over there by Central Islip, the park.
Which
My
one?
my son there's a little park in Central
Oh, I
Islip
ain't talking about.
where they
Never
got
mind.
chopped
Yeah.
up, right? So
Yeah.
my son calls it the Princess Park, and so I was taking there all the time. I was living in Central Islip. One day I'm there. I have a ghost hunting app on my phone, which is what was the name of the thing? Damn. So it basically it uses if a ghost passes electromagnetic field, it could pick words and it'll speak it. There's a name for it, but I forget. The obulus. The obulus. So basically, ghost hunters use it. They have it. It's like a one single tool. So they'll say to a ghost, if you hear this tool will help you speak, you can, and they could use the electromagnetic field to pick words out of the system database, and it could say like the gar, the moon, I
Mm.
killed, or something like that. You know what I'm saying to you? So I
Yeah.
was messing around, and I said I'm gonna go over there, and I said in the area, I said, I said in Spanish too. I said, I know what happened to you guys. I'm sorry for what happened to you. Um, and right when that moment happened, I got sick to my stomach. I don't know if it was me thinking about what happened to them, but I got sick to my stomach. And then the obulus thing goes off, and it says rabbit in the foliage. See, the reason why that's kind of crazy is because before that, me and my son would take my dog Luna and we would walk through the area, right? And rabbits would come out and we'll chase the rabbits with my dog. And
Yeah.
so, we were like fake hunting using the dog to hunt. So for that, that's how I know it was them. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, for those words to come out of the obulus, rabbit in the foliage, I said, what? So that same feeling I had that day when I was walking through the woods that day in Montauk, like just a queasy feeling. And I came across the where it's like it's a big radar type thing, and it's got like it's
Is
what
this
the hell's the word
Timberland
for
Park?
it?
It's not Timberland Park, right?
Nah, not Timberland. In Central Islip.
Oh,
In
CI. You
Central
said
Islip.
CI.
Yeah, in CI. It's the new park they got there. It's like a soccer field they put there now, and yeah, so they have a little kids playground over there, and since it was so close to the house, I used to take Isaiah there all the time. So like that same feeling happened to me like that day when I was walking through over there in Montauk and I saw that place. And like I went inside the building and you can just see like now that I'm doing information and I'm studying, I see because everything that had to do with electricity was gone. So in my head I'm like, oh, some crackheads came in here and they took everything, all the boxes, all the whatever, you know what I'm saying to you? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
um but now I see why, you know what I'm saying to you? They did it purposely, you know what I mean? Like um yeah, so it's crazy, like the things, like it's not it's just crazy to me, right? To see that the government, right, is actually allowing these aliens to kidnap kids and do experiments on them, right? So whatever the deal is, they say, I guess it's like, yeah, sure, you can do whatever you want on these people as long as you put them back. you know.
Yeah.
So and a lot of these kids coming back fucked up or finding things in their bodies, weird things that don't belong there, weird metals that we don't even have on our planet. When they go to a
Hmm.
doctor and they get a MRI done, they're finding probes and all these weird shit into people. You know what I'm saying to you? But
Yeah.
these things, these events traumatize people. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, for whatever reason, they're not able completely to neuralize like the MIB, look into the tooth, right? And completely forget about it.
Forget about
No,
everything.
because it's
Yeah.
it's still there somewhere. It's still somewhere
Yeah.
there. Something when their brainwashing thing happens, right? They did it in a sense where if a certain word could come through, right, and that person was just becomes some type of crazy assassin, like and
I wonder if it's something in
dude,
your subconscious mind that they leave planted. You know what I'm
that
saying?
too, that too,
Like
like
what you
that,
say.
yeah, I do believe it
Say a
could be
word
that
that
way, right?
that triggers it. You know,
Something, yeah, something like that.
it's
I do
crazy.
believe him.
I'm going. I'm going to New York. If God allows it in April. So I really want to see if we could take a trip over there to
Hell
Montauk
yeah,
and
yeah, that'll be
sneak
dope.
in.
Cause now that we're doing this, like we know what we're looking for,
Yeah.
and we can look a little bit more. You know what I'm saying to you? Instead of going to where I
Yeah.
was at, I want to go more deeper. You know what I'm saying to you? Like I want to see if we could find an actual other way because into a tunnel. There's got to be tunnels down there. There's got to be some other way to get down there. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's a little. It looks like a little hut. There's no way that's just it. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
It has
there's
to be
got to
more
be
to it.
some big compound somewhere down there underneath that we don't know about that we just got to find the entrance to. Um, dangerous stuff, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying to you? Who knows? Maybe after that, all of a sudden, you wake up, right? Because like these kids, like a lot of these kids were saying, during their testimony, is that they would remember going to bed, laying down, and all of a sudden waking up, and like all of a sudden, like in a heartbeat, the sun is up. You know, so like time would go by so fast and only seemed like a minute went by, but here you looking outside, the sun is up, and you're saying, holy shit, 8 hours just went by, and I just remember right now walking into my bed, putting my sheet over, and boom, and all of a sudden I'm gone and I'm
Yeah.
here, you know.
It's wild.
So this man too, I forget the name. I was supposed to look it up and I couldn't find it, but the dude, he started a whole ministry behind this stuff that happened to him, reaching out to other people that this had happened to. Because there's probably hundred kids. It probably happened to you and me. We don't even know. It probably happened to the person listening to this shit. You don't even know until one day all of a sudden and you having these crazy memories floating through your head. You're like, how the fuck do I remember this? How, like, it's like when I was a kid. I mean, I always had this memory in my head that I could have sworn happened, and then one day I'm telling my mom, and they're like, nah, that never happened. I'm like, what? It's like, no, you never went there, you never was there, you never was this, and I'm like, how? If all my life I had this memory, like if the shit happened, like just like how I'm saying it, and now people are saying that it never happened type shit. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
I don't believe. I believe it's happened, but it happened somewhere else in another realm, in another consciousness. Who knows, bro? Like, you know, and
Well,
it's
that's what they
it's a
call
crazy thing.
that thing you're talking about, to be able to travel with your mind to go somewhere else. That's what's called remote viewing, right? That's what that
Well, yeah,
is.
remote viewing is exactly how we're saying that. You're right. Like, so like they would just be somewhere else, and they're like, like a remote, right? Viewing
Yeah.
somewhere else. You know what I mean? So you like just, and it's them seeing, or I see Putin. He's writing on a piece of paper. He's
That's why they
saying
call them
yes. He's saying
psychic
the
spies. You
yeah,
know.
psychic spies, yeah.
So
And they even use them. Hmm?
how did you first hear about the Stargate project? Was it recently or
Stargate.
something?
No, a long time ago, I remember in the early '90s there was actually a movie called Stargate, or is there a show?
Okay.
I forget. I remember watching that, and just and then through other research, hearing about it,
Yeah.
hearing other people saying it.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy
think
because
I
when you
was
said when you was talking about the Soviet Union earlier, you brought that up, and well, according to the CIA, they saying that they believe that the Russians was also researching this field, and in 1969 to 1971, they were concerned that the Soviet Union the Soviet Union was training its citizens with psychic powers, and I think what would raise a big red flag to them was that in 1970 the budget was 60 million rubles, which is like Russian currency. And then
Mm.
5 years later, the budget was increased to 300 million rubles. So I may be saying that we're wrong. But if that if that increase in 5 years went from 60 million to 300 million, that significant jump in budget raised a huge red flag for the CIA. Believing the
Mm.
efforts were successful. So that's when we started to do the same shit. We were like, well, we went to Congress and we told them, look, and there's documents on this shit too. We went and there was other code names to other projects like we talked about Project Grill
Mm.
Flame, Gondola Wish, Center Lane, until 1991, which the project was consolidated to Stargate Project. And then in
Mm-hmm.
1995, the program was terminated. And there's actually a movie on it. I was doing research, and I came across it's a movie called what's the movie called? The Men Who Stare at Ghosts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it was released in
Comedy.
2009. It's a dark comedy, you know,
Yeah.
but it's with George Clooney and Kevin Spacey. But the movie itself, right? If you like pay attention, I actually watched it today during my research. I was like, it's on HBO Max. If you guys have HBO Max, it's on there now. So I researched it and I saw it because I looked at the trailer and it's a goofy, funny movie, but still, like, they say a lot of shit that in the documents that you sent me were in those documents. The shit that they were
Yeah.
doing. Is it straight if I play that trailer real quick and then we'll just continue the conversation?
Yeah, right.
All right, hold on. Let me see. Just screenshot everything. Learn how to figure this thing out. All right, check this shit out. Oh, shit.
My name is Bob Wilton. I'm a journalist. I've been investigating a story about a classified government program. So what you're saying is that you were a psychic spy? A Jedi warrior. I'd heard that the U.S. government was training psychic soldiers, and that Lynn Cassidy was the best of the best. I've been reactivated. I'm on a mission. I could come. Lynn's story was unbelievable, crazy, and completely true.
We have to dream a new America that no longer has an exploitative view of everyone. You will be a psychic weapon. Feel it, yeah! We must create warrior monks who can pass through walls and see into the future.
Congratulations, Scotty. It doesn't work out between you two.
What are you doing? Cloud bursting. Keeps me in shape. And it's gone.
Jeez, you had like the whole desert to drive.
Yeah. It's funny.
But yeah, let me stop this because it's still playing. But yeah, that was a trailer. I actually seen it, the whole thing today. And it was alright. It's pretty funny. But just still like the hitting message I'm saying, that's in there. It's interesting because it was based on a true story. It sounds fucking ridiculous. It sounds unbelievable. But yes, $20 million went into this project. And that's a lot of money, bro. You're not talking about a million too. You're talking about $20 million.
Yeah.
And just imagine if they're doing this right. This actually was uncovered by a journalist, who talked to one of the participants, and he spilled the beans, and this how this project got declassified. Uh, yeah, I mean, it goes back to what you were saying, like it's just unbelievable, crazy shit that the government's doing that. Some
Yeah.
normal person would think about it, and it's like, man, hey,
Supposedly there's a whole book
yeah,
written out there right now that just came out with this new guy who wrote more about this, to touch more, more in depth. And man, he supposedly in the book he talked about that Charles Manson was actually a part of this the MK Ultra program.
was it that
And
book Chaos?
nah, it's a new book that just came out.
Okay,
Joe Rogan was talking about it in one of his podcasts. Um, and they were talking about the same thing. So like if you look at Deep State for Joe Rogan, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. They spoke about it. But he talked about that author writing a book, and supposedly Charles Manson was, you know, the government used him and this same type of deal with this MK Ultra type situation, and
Yeah.
I look what he turned out to do. You know what I'm saying too? Like, um, and him and his group. But there's so many times in history that we see like something crazy happening to somebody, right? Somebody doing some crazy shit, like, and they're being perfectly normal, and all of a sudden they just woke up and became an assassin, and killed 30 people or some
Hmm.
shit, and shit like that. And then, oh yeah, bipolar and manic depressive, but there's no other, no other evidence of any of this shit. Family be like, he was perfectly normal. He was a fucking, to Princeton. He's a fucking, a rocket scientist or whatever, like that kid from Colorado that fucking killed them people at the movie theaters, like he was a smart dude, and all of a sudden just boop, going crazy, and
Crazy.
they make claims to this shit. They make claims to this thing, you know. But we have even crazier stuff that happens in history. Like, so there was this. I had did a little research on this lady. We was gonna do something else with this episode, and we was gonna talk about dangerous states. And in one of the states, Louisiana, there was 1 second, 1 second, get her name right. I forget her name. Let me get her name right. 1 second, 1 second.
I thought you were gonna
Okay,
spaz on the bird.
nah, her name,
I was gonna
yeah,
say
that
let
fucking
let, let the
birds.
bird let the bird be.
Her name is Clementine Barnabet, right? And in 1911, she was a part of some type of cult, right? Then a voodoo cult that was called the Church of Sacrifice, and
Mm.
she ran around and killed 30 people. She was a serial killer, obviously. She killed 30 people, and
Wow.
she got caught for it. She tried to escape, but got caught again, right? And she ultimately got released, and I don't remember what year, 1923. And 1923, she was released after supposedly she was cured by a surgery that was done, and it wasn't the surgeries that everyone's gonna say, like the shit that we know, lobotomies or whatever the hell they call they
I mean,
yeah, the crazy. No, there was some crazy surgery, right? That they did to her, and supposedly she was cured and she was released after killing 30 people. You know what I'm saying? To like, but
mm.
it's just like it's crazy things like this to happen, right? People all of a sudden just do some crazy shit, right? And you know what I mean? Like, so I do believe that even in a lot of these places too are like rural, right? Like she was in a part of Louisiana that was in the boondocks. So this is the places that this government's target, because and no one's gonna miss some street kid, here that's
Some of these people don't have a voice.
yeah, some people don't have no family, don't have nothing, and it's pretty fucked up, if this is what they did. It's not if it was what they were doing. It's a known fact that they were doing it, just snatching up kids from the streets, and some of these kids like so, and the Montauk Boys, they will say that they will see somebody, and then eventually they won't see them no more. But then during the years of them doing this shit, right, they'll find a place somewhere. Like, so they say that somewhere in those woods in Montauk, there's probably hundreds and thousands of bodies buried because of the kids that didn't survive the the traumatic experience. Like essentially they would do a lot of torture to somebody to see if they could take the torture first. And it's like they would break them down and then build them up to whatever the hell they wanted to build them up to. But some kids didn't survive this shit. Some kids got sick, probably caught pneumonia. If they were naked somewhere in a dark, damp place, right? Like how many kids got sick and just died? They weren't feeding them right. They wasn't treating them right. So there's probably hundreds of bodies all over that Montauk area, and that'll be interesting
So
too. You know what I'm saying?
take a
To see if
shovel. We're going.
yeah, exactly, right. To see if because I believe it to be
I want
true.
to
They will
go.
say like,
I do.
yeah, definitely. When you come in, we definitely gonna take that trip, bro. It's gonna be in the springtime too, so should be nice. We'll definitely take that trip and record that episode. The
Yeah,
recap.
that'd be fire. The
That'll be
recap.
dope.
Yeah, man,
Yeah, man.
that's some deep
Yeah.
shit. And
Some
there's a lot of
some deep
projects out there
state
that
shit.
you could research, man. Research it, and and we're gonna do this thing in parts, but um, I definitely want to take the time to thank you, Los, for once again coming
That,
on
bro.
and bringing this information, man. You know, we're gonna cut it here. Um, but um, I do want to do another episode on the Midnight Operation Midnight Climax. I think I want to do that one
Mm.
next and get into that deep state shit because there's a lot of examples, man. And Stargate, the Montauk Boys, um, and just a lot of shit. Hey, even the CIA, what they did with the real Rick Ross. You know what I'm saying? That's not
Oh
MK
yeah.
Ultra and shit, but it goes to show you the power that they had. You know what I'm saying? Of fucking flooding the West Coast with fucking drugs, making this
Mm-hmm.
person a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? And then funding another war. You know what I'm saying? Using this money to fund the war in I forgot what war it was over there in South America, man.
The Contra, Nicaragua.
Yes, Nicaragua. That's
Yep.
right. Hey, and I have that book,
Man.
man. That book is, you know, what I'm saying, to see like that dude was such a smart dude. And if you guys have Hulu and these other streaming platforms, the show Snowfall is based around that. You know, it's based
Mm.
around the real Rick Ross story. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, but we'll definitely gonna get more into this. I do want to get into it because there's a lot of shit out there. You know, um, that we could talk about and cover. And these are one of the things that goes to show you what the fucking government could do. You know, to you, to me, to everybody, to even their own. You know,
Hmm.
that's the whole purpose of what deep state means is that grab this information, grab this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Um, create certain incidents that can go against the fucking laws and create new laws around it. Some wild shit.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man. Los, thank you, man. Appreciate you once again,
Yeah.
man, for coming on.
Yeah, man.
Did you have a good
Always, bro.
Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was all right, man. Thanksgiving was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was cool, man. You know,
Did you have some coquito?
holidays. Nah, we didn't have no coquito yet, man. That's crazy because yeah, we're planning to see. My baby mom's usually makes it, so hopefully she
That's
makes
what I
some this
miss
year.
about. That's what I miss about being around Puerto Ricans. The coquito, and then those
Coquito.
pasteles and the fucking. Oh man, bro.
Man, pasteles are banging, man.
Fuck, man.
Pasteles are banging. All
Shit,
right,
maybe
man.
if
Yeah,
I
well,
go
thanks.
go over there, we hang out with your moms, man. Put your moms on a podcast and make some pasteles and shit.
Yeah, right.
Coquito,
Show
hang
people how to
out,
make
talk.
them. Definitely, that'd be definitely cool to have that on the episode because it's an art that a lot of people are forgetting. Like, people are really ain't doing that no more. You know, like it's just every year since I was a kid. I remember my grandma and everybody getting together and making hundreds of them. You know, to divide them amongst the family. You know, and for that's what we'll eat through the New Year's. You know, and
Yeah.
but that'd definitely be cool just to have it out there to show people
Yeah,
how to
hell
make
yeah.
them.
It'd be dope.
You
I'll
know,
be over there in April, man, if God allows it.
right.
I wanna spend time with you, your family, hang out, take the kids out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hell yeah.
And
Definitely gotta take them
we're
out
definitely
fishing,
gonna do a
man.
live podcast. You know what I'm saying? Face
Hell
to
yeah.
face, the first podcast, face to face, you know.
Definitely,
That'd
bro.
be fire. But all right, my man, you have a wonderful rest of the day,
You
bro.
too, my man.
Got love for you. Be safe. Everybody, thank you for
Yeah.
tuning in. I appreciate you guys and I will see you guys soon, sooner than you guys think. So God bless all of you and